All right. Hey there. Thanks for checking out adventure story number 3. This adventure story is with Colleen Hodson, and it's just a lot of fun. She has some of the best stories out there. She just left last year as the executive director of the DRA. So we talk about what the DRA looked like when she first joined, where she sees the DRA going, and then what she's up to now. And we also talk about what she sees as something ranches can do to prepare as we come out of what we're going through now. So this was a lot of fun. Please join us at the end after the interview is done. There will be another video like this where I pop up. Towards the end of this video, Colleen and I talk about a marketing video we're working on together. So I'll put that at the end and link it in. And so there you go. Enjoy adventure story number 3 with Colleen Hodson from Ranch Bookings. This is our adventure story series. Please give me a shout if you have any questions, concerns, you know anybody that we should interview. Just give me a shout. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. Okay. Because Matt has the video recording and then I have the audio recording and then I have to stitch them back together. Okay, so we are here on adventure story number 3 with Colleen Hodson. We're excited to have you on today to talk about how you got into guest ranching and dude ranching. I'm excited to hear all your stories and what you're up to now. So I guess my first question, because I didn't grow up in the guest ranch community, is when did you come into the guest ranching world? When did you start at the DRA? How old were you? And what did the guest ranching world look like?
Okay. Well, I didn't grow up in the dude ranch business by any stretch. I grew up in Alaska, so I was used to the outdoor adventure stuff that you do in Alaska because that's really all there is to do in Alaska. But when I met my husband and I moved to Wyoming, we operated a outfitting business and also a summer pack trip business. So we would take people up into the hills for 10 days. 10-day trips is what we did. I cooked on those trips. I booked those trips. I was, like the what we do, did everything.
One
So
stop
that's
shop.
kind of how I got into my love for the outdoors of Wyoming and the Western states and the horseback riding, because I had not ever been around horses until that point. I was at the ripe old age of 19. Um, so we did that for a couple years, and then he's an oil field guy. He worked in Alaska, so I operated a couple of my own businesses, and we had probably the biggest water distribution in the state of Wyoming for bottled water, Rocky Mountain bottled water. And then I also
Wow.
did a candy business at the same time. And anyway, so in raising a couple kids, they were rodeo kids, and to get to the dude ranch thing, I had actually sold all my businesses when I was, I'm going to say I was 40, because my kids were getting to be teenagers, and I knew they were Wyoming cowboys, and there might be some rough times ahead. They might need a little more attention, and. So I sold my business, and I was going to retire and just take care of the kids till they got out of high school. I just happened to be walking down the street one day. The DRA had just moved their office to Cody, Wyoming. They hired an executive director from Cody. They moved out of Colorado to Cody. I was walking down the street. Marcia, the executive director before me, she saw me and she grabbed me and she said, "Listen, I know you're kind of trying to get out of everything, but I just got this great job with the Dude Ranchers and I got to go to a convention in New Mexico and I need somebody to answer the phone. Would you consider doing that for me while I left?" And I said, "I'll do it, but I'll only do it for a week, okay? And I'm not going to do it anymore because I'm retiring. I'm going to stay with my kids." And so she went. I started talking to ranchers and I just immediately fell in love with the whole concept. My husband worked on a dude ranch many years, and both of my boys have worked on dude ranches, so I knew a little bit about them. I didn't know, I was familiar with the ones in the Cody area. But anyway, so when she came back, she goes, I am looking for a part-time, just part-time. Yeah, love to do that. I really would love to do that because I just fell in love with ranchers. And then after 2 weeks, I was on full-time, and I didn't leave
Never looked
until
back.
18 years later. so so yeah, I mean, and what it was, I just fell in love with ranchers, so it was pretty easy for me.
Wow. Is there anything, I mean, 18 years is a as a long time for something that started out as a part time or I'll answer the
Right.
phones while you're at a convention. Is there any big thing that sticks out to you of why you fell in love with them?
Again, I remember one rancher that was just getting started. It was Burtwell Ranch, and they're just a little ranch in New Mexico, and they didn't know how to get going. They were a working rancher trying to transition, and like I basically didn't know anything about it. But if you don't know it, you just make it up as you go, right? And then you
Right?
go out and find the right answers, and just walking those guys through it, I thought, oh my God, this is so great. The ranchers are, because they are ranchers at heart. And so they are just a salt of the earth working people. And I could see there was going to be a need for someone to kind of help them come up to speed in,
Snuff.
the technical world and the marketing, virtually there was, we didn't do marketing back then so much um, as we do now. So I don't know. It was just something about talking to these people that I fell in love with.
What did marketing look like out of just general, because marketing right now we're talking my language. What did marketing look like for these ranches?
Well, when I started, not all of them even had websites, and really hardly any of them had email addresses. So we were still doing the old fashioned, print off inquiries, fax them off to people, wait for them to, handwrite the letter to the potential guests. So, I mean, the inquiries weren't actually getting, contacted from us for, 3 weeks by the time we got, our stuff together, they got their stuff together, so it's a lot different now, that's for sure. Yes. Back then, everybody, if you had an ad in a magazine, wow, that was what you did. You put an ad or a Wall Street Journal or something. You know, One thing about the Dude Ranchers Association or Dude Ranch industry that really helped, and this was before I came on, was City Slickers. So that kind of gave everybody an idea of what perhaps, even though it was really nothing like the Dude Ranch experience, but it was, it gave everybody, it put the thought in everybody's mind. So,
It's
um,
we've definitely used that as a pop culture reference, Matt and I, when we're talking to folks and we're explaining what ranch bookings is. If they're not from the ranch world, we're like, have you seen the movie City Slickers? Well, it's nothing like that, but for you, it's good enough.
I
We
cannot
have a
tell you how many
better.
phone calls over the years I have gotten, people going, is everyone going to be like Curly on the ranch? I said, no, no one will be like Curly. Oh,
Oh,
so
oh, I
it's
love
it's
it.
great. So it helped us a lot. It did.
So what
We'd love to see
what
another City Slicker movie come out.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I
That
think
would
we
be
can
awesome.
try to make that happen. We'll just start writing letters in.
Yeah.
What? So back then, I have a really funny story from when you were getting inducted into the Hall of Fame about your I used to print these and then fax them over to you and everything you just talked about. So what now that you're working with folks like Yonder, the Silver Spur, you are still spearheading, leading ranches into whatever's next.
Right.
So,
Right.
what do you see? For the ranches that are listening right now, who maybe they've been around for a long time, maybe they're just trying to prepare for coming out of this COVID-19 and for life to eventually get back to normal. What advice would you offer for them as they're looking at making sure they're in the best position to recover?
Right. Well, I mean, it is a scary time right now for everybody because nobody really knows what's going to be happening. And I think it's important for, whether it's dude ranchers or whatever kind of supplier or whatever kind of trip you're offering out there, you got to stay really current to what's happening. You have to be really versatile. I mean, it's not, even though these are really personal vacations. And so we really like to get on the phone with the guests, and I get that. I totally get that. But in today's technical world, you really need to be able to. You need to be on an online booking system. You probably need to, because people aren't. Even though we really want to call and talk to the guests, some of the guests they just don't want to talk to us until they get on the property. Um, and that's a hard concept for a lot of people, because these are personal experiences, and you want to make sure that guest is getting to the right ranch and is not going to be surprised when they get there. So I think they're going to have to do everything. They're going to have to still be on the phone. They're going to have to get on some online booking. They're going to have to, promote themselves in ways they probably haven't done before. The good thing is, there is some great online booking stuff out there. There are some great nature-based booking stuff out there, and that's what we are. We are nature-based all the way. People are going to want to get out in the wide open spaces. They're going to want to ride horses, with three people around them. They're just going to want to get out there and breathe in the air, breathe in the
Yeah.
scenery. And we are positioned perfectly for that, but we have to make sure we get the word out, um, and be ready for because it's going to come back. We just have to be ready when it does come back.
I think Matt and I are in total agreements. We see that, and I think that's a lot of the advice we give is that it will come back. This isn't something that is never ending. It will come back, and it's just about being in the right position for when it comes back. And like you said, guests have evolved, and where I'm not sure guests will go through the whole booking process without ever contacting you, but at the very
Yeah,
least they want to know, hey, what's your availability in real time without having to pick up the
absolutely.
phone and go through the process. But
Yeah,
for all those ranches who are listening to this who are worried somebody's going to book, like you said, without talking to them or knowing what they're getting into, customers are gonna call you. They're gonna want to know what they're buying before they buy it. But there's certain aspects of the research and booking process that they just want to do on their own. And I think as ranches come out of this, if they can put themselves, and obviously we're ranch booking, so that's what we do. So I'm
right.
obviously biased, but like you said, there are a number of softwares out there that are designed for more B&B and overnight kind of stuff. And I think ranches should start looking and figuring out, you know, what works best for them so they're in the right position coming out of this.
Right. Because I think people are going to be so, once this all does kind of go away, people are going to be so ready to get out there and do that, and they've already been online researching. So they already know what's out there. So they just want to push that button and say, go. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going, you
and
know.
and, and they're not going to want to go on cruises, not cruises. And I'm probably get yelled at for this later because this is going to be a public video, but cruises and Disney and other folks like that, where people are just so on top of each other, I think are going to go the way of the dodo for the next few years. They're going to be guests, consumers are going to be searching out nature centric, adventure centric vacations. So I think adventure resorts, ranches, assuming, and it's a big if, they can survive what we're going through now, and the recovery should be a great opportunity for
Right. And to a point, I agree with you about the cruise ships and Disney, but they're going to come back. I mean,
them. For
they're
sure,
great
absolutely.
well, and they're going to come back and they're going to be stronger than ever. But when you look at the DRA's been around or since 1926. I mean, we've gone through world wars, we've gone through the Depression, we've gone through 9/11, and we're still here.
Yep,
We're going to be here, and we're going to be waiting and ready for when the guests are ready to come back, and we're going to be bigger and better than we ever have been. So I think ranchers are positioned well, and I think they just have to be smart about how they're going to, you know, to make this all happen. They're probably everything's going to change. The way people travel is going to change. The way people book is going to change. Everything's going to change a little bit. So I think we just have to position ourselves so we're ready. We're ready when that happens. And I think the ranchers they're doing that. They're doing that to do as much
absolutely.
as they can right
Absolutely. A lot of the emails we've been getting, I mean, our customers at least are really planning ahead, looking forward, and trying to get in the best position for it. So, like I mentioned earlier, I have a great video from when you were inducted into the DRA Hall of Fame. I want to circle back to that, not the video, but you being inducted into the DRA Hall of Fame. For anybody who's watching this who wasn't there, it was an awesome experience. It clearly meant a lot to you. It clearly meant a lot to the DRA to appreciate you and all your commitment to them. So I'd love to hear, yeah, what that meant to you, and just your thoughts on the DRA now. Where's it going? Obviously, you're not leading the charge anymore, but I know you still have have a voice. What do you think is next for the DRA and all that kind of good stuff?
Right. Well, first of all, I was totally surprised by being inducted in the DRA Hall of Fame, me and my husband Jerry, and it means the world to me. I love those people, and that they respected me and liked what I did enough for them that they would even consider that. So that just meant a ton to me. The DRA, working for the DRA for me, it really was my family. It was, I mean, you can ask my family. I have a kind of a funny story. One year I was filling out Christmas cards at my house, and my son goes, "Oh wow, Mom, you haven't done Christmas cards for several years." And I looked at him. I said, "I know, they're for the DRA." He just rolled his eyes. Of course they are. I would be for her. But
Oh,
anyway, so
that's great.
the DRA, as has meant the world to me, and I will do anything I can to help them, get through this hard time or any hard time. But you're right. It was time for the new generation to take over. It was time for me to kind of step back and let someone else younger you know, and I think they picked a good person to do that with Bryce. I
Hmm.
think she's doing an awesome job. She's got lots of enthusiasm, and I think, that's going to go a long way. She can talk to the ranchers and she can also talk to the guests. So in a way that makes sense to both of them. So she's going to be good. But the DRA, again, is the ranches is what makes up the DRA. And these are an incredible group of people. I mean, they are versatile, they have changed, they have adapted, they've done everything to be successful. And they're going to continue to do that. Um, I the people who were the executive director before me, Jim and Bobby Heuterer, they took the DRA in a direction it needed to go at that time. They needed to get their back of the house stuff in order, which Jim and Bobby did an awesome job of that. So when I came on, that was all in order. And then I realized, and with the boards, we realized that we needed to get the front of our house now. We need to get out. We needed to start marketing. We needed to be more vocal about what this great industry is. And I think for the last 18, 19 years, that's what we've done a pretty good job at that. So I think moving forward, they're going to continue to have to do that. It's going to be a different way. Like you said, we're going to have to adapt. We're going to have to get a little more technical. Are you gone?
Now,
Okay, great.
and we're back.
Thanks.
So I don't remember exactly where we were.
I think we were talking about how, they've hired the new generation coming
Yes.
on into the DRA, which does actually make sense now because a lot of ranchers are transitioning to a new generation.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you
Yeah.
see that as a trend across all ranches, not just the DRA, where it's like, okay, hey, it's time to start passing the torch off?
Yeah, I see it a lot. And I think that's necessary as well, So that's another reason why I think they needed someone younger, someone that can relate to the next generation come on the ranches with Bryce in the office. I think that'll be a good fit. I don't want to, you never want to go out as the old lady. So, okay,
Well, I mean,
right.
let's be honest here. You went out and set the bar,
Well,
way
thank
up
you.
here. Bryce is doing an awesome job. And I'm sure she will chase your record down. But there
Yeah.
was obviously a reason that you are loved, inducted into the Hall of Fame. You left with the bar set as high as possible.
Thank you. And it's easy because I loved it. I loved the job. I loved people. I loved, the people that surrounded the dude ranches. I loved the guests. It was just easy. It was a perfect job for me, I felt. So made it
Well,
easy.
okay, so then this is the perfect segue. So for everybody who's listening, you heard her say she loves you. You are why she stayed. Colleen, what advice would you have for them? Where do they need to improve? What's the not mean thing that you want to say, but now that they're filled with all that love from you, what criticism, where do you think they need to improve? How do you think they can help Bryce and help the DRA and help the community as a whole just get better?
Yeah,
That
I
was a
think
little leading.
it's a hard for the dude ranchers to get this, but they're going to have to change a little bit. They're going to have to adapt to the new guests. They're going to have to adapt to the new way of marketing. They're going to have to adapt to the new way of reaching people. and dealing with people. You know what? One thing about this virus, I think, is gonna, probably um, probably show everyone this. So, everyone's used to doing everything online now. We have been geared to do that. We're shopping online. I mean, not that we haven't done that before, but people who never did that before are now having to do that. So there's going to be even a bigger group of people out there that are going to be shopping online. So you need to make sure you're there. You need to be found, you know, where they're looking. Um, it's so ranchers are, they are very, once they get it, they're very easy to adapt, but they just have to, be convinced that that's what they need to do. So, I would say follow your board's lead, follow Bryce's lead. They're gonna try and put you out there where you need to be. So that's the great thing about belonging to the DRA. You don't have to do this alone. You've got 100 other great properties that are doing it. So, you know, there's some leaders in the industry. Follow what they're doing, and they're gonna all be fine.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And actually, here is a perfect time. I'm going to drop a plug for we have a private Facebook group called the Guest and Dude Ranch Connection. It is only for Guest and Dude Ranch owners and employees where they can share best practices, talk amongst each other and not have to worry about folks who are outside the industry coming in. Excuse me, Matt and I are very liberal with how we block and don't let people in. So if you're watching this and you're looking for a community to talk some questions and things like that, that's out there. I'll share a link to that.
That's a great
Sorry,
idea.
that was just a good plug to drop there. Didn't mean to.
Yeah, great idea too. It's always good to be able to talk amongst yourselves, and again, find out what everyone's doing, what best practices are, especially now. I mean, we're all kind of in this world where we don't know what's happening from day to day. So things are changing all the time.
And that really gives a highlight to why Matt and I really wanted to put together this adventure story series, is because at the end of the day we are all in this together. We know there's a rebound and a recovery somewhere down the road, and so for
Right.
the time being we just need to get through it together. So our goal for this was to provide those 2 webinars for Adventure Story 1 and 2, and awesome interviews from folks like you, because again, for these ranches and resorts, I think there's an opportunity coming out of this, and it's just making sure we have the right information to put ourselves in the best position.
Absolutely. And I saw the first one. I did not see. Who was the second one?
The second one we just pushed out on Monday, and I released it to everybody yesterday. But it was with Joshua Bauman from a law firm out in Boston, and he went through the CARES Act.
Oh,
We pushed it really quick. Yeah, we pushed it a little quicker to get it up just because there's so many variables and so many things and interpretations are changing. So we just wanted to really get the information out there. And it was a great one. We've had between 20, 30, up to, I think our first webinar with Peter Ross had up near 40 ranches in real time live asking questions and participating in the call. So we're excited about doing these videos because they're being accepted and the reception is great.
Well, thank you guys. I mean, really, everybody needs to pull together to help the ranchers. So I appreciate that, and I'm sure the DRA does too. So thank you.
Yeah, no, this is an opportunity, and the selfish plug for us is we're ranch bookings. We want to support as many ranches as we can. Matt obviously grew up on a ranch. We're the only cloud-based property management system that is built for ranches. And so, you know what, if I can't be out there selling right now, which I'm sure a number of ranches are happy not to see my phone calls and emails come across their desks right now. So this is what they're going to get. They're going to get these videos. What
Now, are you going to interview some ranchers themselves?
I would love to. I would love to. And actually, here's a perfect, again, Colleen pitching out softballs. If you're watching this and you know somebody or you want to be interviewed in this, we're looking for resort owners, industry experts. We want your best practices, your stories, anecdotes. A rising tide lifts all ships, and that's what we're here to do.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Thank you guys, because it will be helpful for ranchers. So.
Well, so now let's throw into this. So what are you up to now? You're in the Spur Alliance. You're working with Yonder. You're at the tip of the spear for the future. What is Colleen up to now?
Right. Well, you just said I am working with Yonder, which is online booking, nature-based system, which I think is a great opportunity. And I think they're going to lead the way lead the charge when this whole thing is over and people are wanting to come back. I am working with a small group of ranches. They're all DRA ranches, so they're I just couldn't let it all go because I love ranches, so I love marketing ranches and the whole industry. And so we team up. It's all it's going to be beneficial for the DRA and also for the group of ranches in the Spur Alliance. And then I'm just winding down. I did help. I was working with Family Travel Association for the last 6 months, helping them transition to a nonprofit and that kind of stuff. So that kind of kept me, which I learned so much there. You know, ways that I could help the ranchers that I didn't think of before, because these are all suppliers in a different industry or the travel trade. And, it's just sad, sad, sad what's happening in a lot of areas as far as travel goes. But again, they're positioning themselves so they'll be ready and stronger when it comes back. And I'm a new grandma, so I'm going to start hanging out with my grandbaby.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's very
Oh,
exciting.
that's so much
And
fun.
it's a little girl, and I'm not used to little girls. I've never been around little girls, and so I'm so excited. And she's
Have,
kind of sassy, so it's going to work well for me.
ooh, all right. Have you taken her out on a ranch yet? Has she been around horses yet, or is this
She's
still
our
too
horses.
new?
We have our own horses. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, yeah. She'll
Awesome.
be a little rodeo cowgirl. I'm pretty sure of
Oh,
it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we're doing, and just trying to get through this as best we can and practice all the things that we're supposed to be practicing, such as social distancing and washing my hands and all of that stuff. So that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're here coming to about the end of our interview time. I know you are a busy lady. You have another call coming up here in a little bit. I am going to share a video that you and I are working on together. For ranches who are listening, we're going to put out kind of your adventure will wait video that some of you folks might be able to use on your marketing. I'm working with Colleen on that one. It's primarily for the Silver Spur Alliance. I hope I'm allowed to say that. Talk about
Um,
that video.
yeah, I mean it's
I
gonna,
can I can edit this out if not. That's not a big deal.
I'm just gonna kind of use it, because I think I've seen some great video out there, and I see, what some of the big boys are doing, and it is all, we're gonna be here. We're gonna, your adventure is gonna be here when you're ready for it. And I just want to help the ranchers get that message out. So,
So
yeah,
keep
so
an keep an eye out.
we're gonna work on that, and then we'll share it with everybody when it's, kind of done, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to work on that together. So keep an eye out for that one. Again, we're just going to keep putting out as much content and working with as many amazing people as we can, and we'll keep doing this. So here at the end, I'll do a fade out where I have a shameless plug about ranch bookings at the very end of this video that nobody will listen to, but before we go, Colleen, thank you very much. Matt and I really appreciate you taking the time. We know how busy you are. You have a number of things going on. Before we
Yeah.
go, do you have anything you want to say to all the ranchers who are listening right now? We'll do another follow-up video with you soon to see where things are at. But in the meantime, if you want to leave them a parting message.
Sure. I mean, you guys are gonna all weather this storm as we have in the past. You're gonna come out bigger and better on the other end. Um, Stick together, learn from each other, support your associations, and I think in the long run we are what people are gonna be looking for. So yay for us.
Thanks for checking out adventure story number 3 with Colleen Hodson. On behalf of the Ranch Bookings team, Matt and I, we really appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to watch these videos. This one was a lot of fun. Colleen always has such great advice and pieces of advice for everyone she talks to. I think there's just a lot we can take away from that 30-minute conversation. Here in a moment, I'm going to fade over to a marketing video that Colleen and I were working on together. If you'd like your own version of this, just reach out and let me know, and we can try to put something together for you. But as always, this is Adventure Stories, where we interview industry experts as well as resort owners to talk about best practices and advice and to get all their great stories. If you want to be interviewed or you know somebody we should interview, please reach out to us directly. We would love to get them on. Next week, we have Adventure Story number 4 coming out with Francois Courand. That's going to be a lot of fun. He has just some great stories. And if you don't know, obviously, they're originally from France. They bought a goose wing and Jackson, Wyoming. So we're going to talk about that. You know, what would drive you 20 years ago to start a guest ranch in Jackson, Wyoming. So it's going to be a great story. We hope you'll tune in, and thanks for checking out Adventure Story number 3. Have a great one.